Today on the Topic Show, the NFL might fine a player for wearing a MAGA hat, but they did allow BLM swag. Guy has a breakdown in the mere sight of a Trump sign and goes viral. The mainstream media lies about Trump saying that he called for violence against Liz Cheney. The AP confirms that the White House illegally altered Biden's transcripts in order to make him sound articulate. Wendy's is closing 140 stores, but they will be opening some more. And Intel's chips, well, they're still way far behind Nvidia. All of that, much more on the Topping Show. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Today's episode of the Topping Show is proudly sponsored by Topping Technologies. Topping Technologies is an IT value-added reseller and services company with a special proficiency IT security. Heck, I see their founder released twice a day. Guys, he's quite handsome and brilliant. He's me, see that's the joke. If you're an IT leader or business owner, you can reach out to the team at sales@toppingtechnologies.com. Also giving away a free flamethrower with every IT purchase this fiscal quarter. Yes, you can in fact mount it to an AR-15 standard Picatinny rail thanks to an included attachment. Again, a free flamethrower with every IT purchase. Go to toppingtechnologies.com to learn more. Lastly, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you can click that button and tell your friends, I would greatly appreciate it. Now going over to the business part of the podcast, you have Wendy's closing 140 stores, but some more will be popping up. Now this comes to us thanks to CBS News. They say specifically, quote, Wendy's to close 140 more restaurants by the end of the year to offset opening of new locations. There you can see, oh, how do they not include one of their iconic pictures of the Wendy's brand? Now, they say, quote, in a conference call with investors, the company said these closures will be offset by new restaurants opening. Wendy's says it plans to open between 250 and 300 restaurants this year, which is quite a juxtaposition compared to TGI Fridays, which just a couple days ago, and now it's going to be closing dozens and dozens more, which, fascinatingly enough, I mean, Wendy's is really bucking the trend in most fast food. A lot of them are struggling. I mean, shoot, Red Lobster went bankrupt, last fiscal quarter, I believe, and as most fast food has lost all of its value, which used to be cheap, convenient, and fast, well, it's very much not really any of those things these days, with some people having receipts from McDonald's for as much as $20 to $30 to $40, which is just astronomical. Though you have to blame the Democrats and Republicans for driving up the debt, causing inflation as well. Understandable. Getting back to the specifics of Wendy's, they say, quote, Wendy's president and CEO Kirk Tanner said that the restaurants are closing because they are underperforming compared to the others. He said, quote, they're just in locations that don't build our brands. You look at a brand that's 55 years old and some of the restaurants are quite out of date, unquote. They know that the Dublin, Ohio-based Wendy's didn't provide a list of locations to be closed, but Tanner said that they are spread over all across the country. Quote, our focus is on building new restaurants because we know they will deliver overall above the average of these poor, underperforming restaurants. We overall want the best restaurants for our customers and the customer experience we want to deliver. Now, this is more astronomical, unquote. Wendy's had 7,292 restaurants at the end of the third fiscal quarter. Now, they also know that more than 80% are located in America, or some people call it the United States. Wendy's shares, their stock bumped 3.5% at the announcement of this, which begs the question, what is Wendy's stock doing? And when was the last time you actually heard or thought about that? Maybe a decade? I know, obviously, McDonald's is one of the most successful restaurant franchises in history, and I check their stock ticker every once in a while. But Wendy's stock, this might be the first time I braved it, or some people call it Google searched it. And it's still trading, well, I guess it's a fraction of what McDonald's is, literally. It's trading for $19.66 per share for Wendy's, which conceivably is less than the price of a meal these days at a Wendy's restaurant. Looks like, oh, geez. Yeah, year to date, when compared to the S&P 500, they're doing about as good as the food quality that they have, which I guess fast food roast to burn, what do they say? Let's just say, let's see. I know they had the Frosties. I think they sell the Frosty. That was famous in the 90s. Their beef used to be pretty good, but all my friends who shopped there recently said it's kind of gone downhill. Now, the past year, their stock's gone up 3.53%, which is awful. Year to date, their stock is up 1.6%. Granted, still doing better than Boeing, but that's a pretty low bar, or grounded plane. Now, in the past 6 months, their stock is up 0.2%, also known as negligible. Past month, it's up 11.33%, so that's a little bit better. But then, yeah, just a 1 or 2% points at this news. And last week, it looks like it went down by 0.3%, so kind of negligible. The only upside to this, and again, not financial advice, I mean, the revenue is 2.095 billion last fiscal report. Actually, it says 2022 in the summary for some reason. Got 10,200 employees, and the dividend yield, this pretty, as the youth might say, legit, 5.09%. Granted, some might argue you kind of have to have that to, kind of attract a certain type of investor, and as well as give an incentive to keep people, not selling their stock. But yeah, $19.66 per share. Now, that being said, I mean, shoot, I would never, granted, I like to joke, I'm not a gambler, but I reinvest in my businesses, so I wouldn't put any money in this. But yeah, just 1%. That, the best that can be said is not dramatically decreasing, past year. But again, a lot of businesses, at least the stock market, they're doing pretty good. A lot of businesses are kind of struggling with their sales a little bit. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the future is for Wendy's. Now, they also know that Denny's, incidentally, Denny's said they're going to close 150 locations by the end of 2025. So again, other restaurants that are kind of struggling as well. And maybe they're closing the underperforming stores, probably the ones that are a little more run down. And again, if you don't have proper upkeep, it does kind of look a little stingy. And I love old logos and kind of the historic thing. So I think if you had the old restaurants, but you actually, cleaned them and, kept it nice and tidy, I think that'd be kind of cool. I think that's one of the reasons why people kind of like Dairy Queen. It's almost like a little time capsule. But yeah, with Wendy's, it'll be interesting to see. Can they make it out of this nosedive? Will those new stores be much more profitable? Will they attract new buyers? And when was the last time you shopped at a Wendy's? I think mine was when I was it elementary school or middle school? I distinctly remember the only reason my family liked it is because the parents liked the Frosty, which probably has about as much sugar as 12 Pepsis. But yeah, I think back in the 90s, the French fries were okay. Hamburgers are pretty good compared to like Burger King, low bar, granted. But Burger King has moments too. When was the last time I actually shopped at a Wendy's, and would you ever go again? Let me know in the comments, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Now, going over to the Culture Pride podcast, the NFL might find a player for simply wearing a MAGA hat, but they allowed other political statements and swag, including BLM. Now, this is brought to us thanks to and wokeness on the good old X Twitter, in which he says, quote, and he's actually quoting the NFL, saying, quote, the NFL forbids all political, click that subscribe button. I have that theory. When I first started the show, barely any subscribers, maybe minus my parents, but I spoke terribly, mostly monotone, really faster, yes, faster than I do today. And truth be told, I stumbled over my words worse than Joe Biden trying to climb upstairs. It was that bad. But as I slowly but surely gain more subscribers, I become slightly more articulate. Granted, the bar is quite low, understandable, but slowly but surely it'd be a little bit of improvement. And I think that's because I've got more and more subscribers. Though one or two did unsubscribe last week, perhaps that's why I'm speaking faux pas right now. However, if you click that button, I'd greatly appreciate it and fuel that theory that someday I'll make it through an entire episode perfectly articulately. So go ahead and tell your friends, and tell your enemies. They might find the content so great they become your friends, or they might find the content so annoying and undigestible that they just become further enemies. In which case, at least you poke the bear and something interesting might happen. So I will not be held accountable for what comes next. But in all seriousness, click that button, tell your friends, because I'd greatly appreciate it. Now, he has some screenshots here for Ed Wokeness. And then one of the first shots is the Patriots, in which they had cleats that say their names, and cleats were black and white. Then they have the Ravens. Wow, that's pretty brazen. It's not just a random banner. It is a Ravens branded single banner. So it's, I don't know what you call the banners that go over the fence, but the Ravens logo is on the same piece of banner material that also says Black Lives Matter. You also have the Washington football. The hell are they? Oh yeah, the Redskins, and they're all kneeling. Though obviously not during the national anthem or anything. Oh no, they were protesting the national anthem. I forgot. Then you have the LA Chargers as well. And now the New York Post actually says, quote, NFL is weighing a potential fine for Nick Bosa's MAGA hat moment at NBC. Oh dear God, he wore a MAGA hat. But all their political statements were okay. Yeah, as youth might say, the NFL is not, in fact, based, and I think less and less people are actually tuning into the sports balls teams these days. Now, it didn't go as far as I thought it would, believe it or not. It only got about 120, what is it? Oh, it's got another 192,000 views and 6.9 thousand likes. Now, one of the first comments comes from Paul Zupa, says, quote, they're just shoving the hypocrisy in our faces, getting 53 likes, which, yep. Never forget, they also will allow you to advertise pretty much anything pharmaceutical or alcohol or anything like that, but they wouldn't allow Daniel Defense, which is one of the best AR-15 manufacturers on the planet, headquartered in good old Georgia. Well, they wouldn't let Daniel Defense run a commercial. And the commercial did not actually showcase the product. It was quite simply just a loving family and talk about, responsibilities of defending your home. And yet, yes, they didn't show an AR-15. They showed the Daniel Defense logo, but the NFL turned that down. So they'll let you have commercials around alcohol and pharmaceuticals, but not defending yourself with a God-given right. Yeah, that kind of shows you the priorities, or lack thereof. Now, I'm a little disappointed. Planet of Memes did not, in fact, respond in meme form. So I have to say this alleged Planet of Memes says, quote, I quit watching the NFL after all the BLM propaganda, getting 77 likes. Washington Ghost says, I don't understand why people still watch the NFL, getting 77 likes. Yeah, with all the commercials these days, I can't fathom actually watching a sports balls game, unless it was a customer event where you're there to actually wine and dine and get to know people. I can't imagine the time commitment alone to sit and watch the TV for that long. Nevertheless, General TM says the NFL is a garbage organization and a bunch of hypocrites, getting 36 likes. What's up with this? This person's name is Fight with Memes, but they in fact did not use a meme. A little disappointed. This alleged fighter with memes says the NFL is fake anyway, like pro wrestling, getting 18 likes. Cheryl Smith says, quote, I guarantee if one of the NFL players had won that hat and said, here's Walls, they would have even considered a penalty, getting 28 likes, which, yeah, probably. David Brown says that NFL is a joke. Not only do I not watch it anymore, I can't stand it anymore, getting 27 likes. If anything, I always like the college ball better because there's a lot more upsets too, kept it a little more interesting. Isaac A3 says there's nothing surprising about this. It's classic woke NFL move, getting 19 likes. Which, yeah, I think it was a couple months, was it 2 or 3 years ago, where they actually had commercials bombastically saying that the NFL was gay. Or it is interesting how culture has changed. It's changed especially in the United States, where in the 90s has much more pejorative, like slang, like basically the same equivalation of saying someone is stupid. And nowadays it's very much pro good thing for a lot of people in San Francisco. And again, on average, I'd say in the United States most people are tolerant of that as well. And yet the NFL leaned right into it, which I think turned off some prospective clients or prospective viewers. David Sullivan, interesting. He has the pronouns probably prosecute Fauci. Says, quote, I guess I'll stick with my well, he says, I guess I'll stick with my love of college football. And then it's a picture of Mark Cuban with some extra makeup on, saying Trump's afraid of smart, intelligent women like me. Getting 10 likes. A fake quote, but Mark Cuban did, for some reason, say that Trump had no intelligent women around him ever in his life, which is a disgusting way of not just insulting Trump's wife and daughters and extended family members, but also everyone Trump has worked with for decades. Not sure how many, I don't know, maybe Kamala's just giving Mark Cuban a lot of money or something, I don't know. I did get 10 likes. See here. Burt Macklin, not the real one from the I was about to say the cartoon and the TV show, says, quote, they should have given him an award. IMO getting 8 likes. Let's see here. Any contrarian statements? Outside, hashtag the NFL said, this you? Yeah, glad I stopped watching you when you idiots went woke, getting 4 likes. The Endless Capital says, really bad look for the NFL if they try to penalize him, getting 9 likes. So not really any contrarian statements here. And that being said, I'm sure there's some people that want this individual punished. And we'll see at the end of the day how many people, if they really give him a fine or slap on the wrist. And I really do wonder how many people have tuned out of the NFL past couple years. Not just because of politics, but there's so many commercials. It's just, to me, unbearable how much crap you have to watch before you actually get to the substance of the sports ball game. But, oh yeah, here we go. What was this? So, Filthy Habit says, I don't know if you knew this, but, and it's the NFL logo in Pride, which, again, they change it, I believe, every June. It says the NFL is gay, game 1 like, which, yeah, they had the whole Pride thing. And again, that might boost their sales short term, especially certain demographics in the United States. Overall, though, I think people just want to watch the sports balls thing and not think about anything. But that's just me. Let me know, do you think this individual will actually be fined, or do you think at the end of the day they'll just kind of sweep it under the rug, or just hopefully move on, or hope people move on and not, sense anything? Let me know in the comments, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting cultural news, you have a guy breaking down at the mere sight of a Trump sign. The Trump derangement syndrome is in full effect here. Now, the only fascinating thing I found here is that this individual does not in fact have blue or pink hair, which is usually a big red flag in the majority of the time. Now, this comes to us thanks to Liz the TikTok, in which she says, quote, guy goes mental on a Trump supporter for holding a Trump sign. Now, I'm not sure if this is another red flag. This individual has a smartphone and he is a male, and he has one of the smartphones that opens up, so it's like a little pamphlet. So it's almost like a purse for your phone. So instead of a sturdy, good old vulcanized plastic phone case, this is one of those little leather ones that wraps over it. And also makes it like a little book. I'm only partially kidding. I've never seen any of my guy friends have that. Have you? Certainly that isn't trending. Go ahead, I'll play this without too much further ado.
How are you today?
I'm great, you fucking
okay?
cunt. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm doing wonderful.
Yeah, you doing good?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
You live in this neighborhood?
Doesn't matter.
Now, maybe some other red flags here, and sorry about the language. I forgot he's quite bombastic. And the true tolerance left, right? Now he has here's a red. Let's analyze this individual. Granted, you're never supposed to judge a book by its cover. Though he is looking, he holds a phone as if it is a book, ironically. He has a star tattoo on his, what do you call it, the neck, and his right below his Adam's apple. He has stars in all his hands in terms of tattoos. Perhaps he thinks he is a star? I mean, he went viral, so I guess in a way he's right. Now, go ahead, I'll play that.
Doesn't matter.
You shouldn't be in this neighborhood.
Really?
Well, I thought you were tolerant. You shouldn't be in this neighborhood.
Yeah, I mean, do you have jaundice or something?
You have jaundice? The ultimate example of the pot calling the kettle black.
I shouldn't be in this neighborhood.
Guess what, Nazi? Go home.
All right.
Fuck you, Nazi piece of shit.
All right.
Go.
Oh, dear God, that's sad. Even he's married? Jesus. I just noticed he has a wedding ring on. And of course, they use the most mentally vacuous argument. Oh, comparing Trump to Hitler.
Home.
Stop shaking your hands.
Go.
This guy's freaking out. Maybe he's not inebriated with drugs, but he's holding his phone and and just shaking like a rabbit.
Go home.
Stop shaking your hands.
Go home.
Step
yeah,
away.
because I want to.
Step
you
back.
Don't understand.
Step back. How are you today?
Tolerant left. Fascinatingly enough, we also see a lot of these videos on people on the right doing this. And Lord knows, if they were prevalent, they'd be on MSNBC, CNN, 24/7 news cycles about them. Fascinating juxtaposition of the two parties. Now, that went pretty viral. Got 1.4 million views as well as 22,000 likes. I'm a little disappointed. The first comment comes from Planet of Memes, but they did not in fact respond in meme form. They're slacking this week. This alleged Planet of Memes says, quote, the guy is something, or on something, or maybe coming off something. He's shaking like a leaf, getting 2.5 thousand likes, which he very well might be inebriated. Let's see. First time caller says, I'm going to go to set here for a second. Grammar be damned, but I did try to read it. And it's a quote from Mike Tyson, or a picture of Mike Tyson, say, quote, social media made y'all way too comfortable disrespecting people and not getting punched in the face for it. He had 1.6 thousand likes. True. Fight with Memes did in fact respond in meme form. Say, quote, look at him shaking, he could barely control himself. We need to have a frank discussion about the prevalence of mental illness on the left, which, yeah, it's quite concerning. Here's another picture of someone who looks like a demon. Jeez Louise. Pretty sure I saw this on one of the pages in the Bibles when I was a kid. Bible study. I'm only partially kidding. No, it's apparently a biological woman with a t-shirt with rudimentary paint. I mean, this is like you went to Hobby Lobby. A great establishment, don't get me wrong, but it's like they tried to do a paint thing on a t-shirt, which is only appropriate for a child and their creativity and imagination. But as an adult, it's pretty pathetic. Now, the t-shirt apparently has poorly handwriting too. It says, protect trans youth. And she has a blue scarf. Another red flag there. And yeah, her eyes are the demon, the crazy eyes. Like, that's like one of the biggest red flags out there. And of course, short purplish hair or pinkish hair. Yeah. It got 1.5 thousand likes. Let's see here. Sure Majesty, interesting name and pronunciation, says liberals have a mental disorder, getting 1.5 thousand likes. John 1776, good year. Not the blimp company, but in fact a good year. Says also, doing this with your hand is a sure way to get shot. Yeah, that's probably not prudent. So at the end of the video, this mentally deranged man was taking it. So he had the smartphone in his left hand, his right hand, he was reaching across his left pocket, reaching for something, which, yeah, that's when someone's getting upset and they're reaching for something, that's probably want to have some alarm bells going off and just be extra on your toes. I got 1,000 likes. And sure, he may look scrawny and pathetic, but a wise warrior said, never underestimate your enemy, no matter it's in politics, business, or what have you. Lifetime Patriot says, quote, yet another fine example of mental illness crisis we have in the United States, getting 112 likes. The House of Trad says he grew up in the middle class household. And there's a picture of a police officer saying, can I see your license and registration? There's Kamala Harris saying, so let me start off by saying I grew up in a middle class household, getting 246 likes. David Santa Clara says, be ready if Trump wins. That's all I'm saying. Getting 438 likes, which, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens tonight. I was going to say, that one girl, Epic in 2016, when she broke down, when obviously leftist was, glasses, short hair, you know what I'm talking about. And wearing like a construction worker, neon safety gear. She broke down onto her knees and cried no, which, yeah, if you're an adult crying like that, that's pathetic to say the least. Paul Zupa also says, I think this guy's already missed a few screws, and then Trump's sign made him fall to pieces, getting 18 likes. Let's see. The board, well, let's see here. Interesting name. This guy's name is, hashtag is Bradley Battendorf. Says, there it is. Everyone who disagrees with the Democrat position is a Nazi. Apparently, I'm a Nazi and Jew in their eyes. Wow. Getting 950 likes. Romney says, I could assemble the entire IKEA warehouse without getting this visibly upset. Getting 580 likes. That's a tall order. You know there's going to be a piece, one or two pieces missing. Ginger says, I hate Democrats. There's a little tyrant in every single one of them. Getting 255 likes. Which, I'd say this person is probably a leftist. I mean, there are some level-headed Democrats out there. It's not like it's all of them. I mean, there are the ones who are mentally vacuous and say vote blue no matter who, which is quite concerning. Red Wave Press says Harris supporters are so stable, getting 408 likes. Yep. Yeah, seeing any contrarian statements. Cartier Family says he was shaking like a stripper, getting 471 likes. Benjamin says bring back insane asylums, getting 125 likes. Diesel Applegard says the tolerant left, getting 397 likes. Let's see. And a couple people with funny GIFs. Oh, more of a libertarian meme. I like it. So Tommy Guns says too easy. And it's a picture of Uncle Sam, but it's a skull with a cigar. And it says, they have you fighting each other instead of the system that enslaves you. Inside a fish tank is a MAGA supporter and a short, obviously a leftist because he's short purple hair. And they're yelling at each other. That's a good point. A lot of deep state rhinos in there. Getting 10 likes for that. She got a little more. Becca says make mental institutions open again. Getting 48 likes. Rohan Han, interesting name, says the star on his chest was the first giveaway that the conversation was not going well. Yeah, that's an interesting place to put a tattoo. I got 36 likes. So, yeah, the Trump derangement syndrome is real and continues to be trending. Oh, there she is. The iconic gal who broke down. She will never be, I can't help but wonder how many cats does she have by now. I'm only partially jesting, but will she break down again and cry if Trump does win tonight? Although, we'll see how many days it takes to have some states count their votes. But let me know in the comments, do you think, I try to follow as many people as I can, left, right, middle, on social media. I really only see these types of breakdowns when it comes to leftist. But let me know in the comments, because as always, it'd be fascinating to hear what you have to say. Now, going over to the political part podcast, you have Trump might be charged for comments about Liz Cheney as mainstream media lies yet again. This comes to us thanks to Greg Price over on X Twitter, in which he says, quote, watch the full clip of President Trump saying Liz Cheney wants to send people to die in wars, but she would never experience herself. Then look at the headlines the media is writing about it. Gee, I wonder why trusted media is at a long-time low. There's Trump in, the OG Tucker.
And I don't blame him for sticking with his daughter, but his daughter's a very dumb individual, very dumb. She's a radical war hawk. Let's put her with a rifle standing there with 9 barrels shooting at her, okay? Let's see how she feels about it. You know, when the guns are trained on her face. You know, they're all war hawks when they're sitting in Washington in a nice building saying, oh, gee, let's send 10,000 troops right into the mouth of the enemy. But she's a stupid person.
Which I would hope by now you have a better nickname for her. Or Cheney. Liz is all about the biz of war, something like that. He could do better. Got 3, and then look at the mainstream media all their titles. So you have, what is this? The Washington Post said Trump suggests war hawk Liz Cheney should have guns trained on her face. New York Times rather says, well, what's the difference? Am I right? Says Trump attacks Liz Cheney using violent war imagery. CNN says Trump says war hawk Liz Cheney should be fired upon an escalade of violent historic rhetoric against his opponents. Axios says Trump suggests Liz Cheney should have guns trained on her face. And this one's NPR. Trump uses violent language, attacks war hawk Liz Cheney. Yeah, mainstream media. What are they good for? I really don't. I mean, with less and less people believing their lies, I'm not sure what they're really good for these days. A lot of wasted taxpayer dollars for sure. This went pretty well. I got 350,000 views, as well as 8.7 thousand likes. Let's see here. Zeno was one of the first ones to comment saying, quote, "This is par for the course if you've been paying attention. They alter the pandemic data. They alter the 2020 election. They alter the January 6th information. They altered the Hunter Biden laptop story. They altered the crime statistics, etc., etc." Got 126 likes. Let's see. Scroll down more and more. I cannot read this individual's name to save my life. It's in 4 characters, so I'll just say their hashtag, which is object reality. Saying, quote, "Trump just paraphrased Black Sabbath." Really, did he? Next quote, "Politicians hide themselves away. They only started the war. Why would they want to go fight? They leave that to the poor. Yeah, time will tell on their power minds. Make war just for fun, treating people like pawns in chess." They got 49 likes. AmericanBunk.com says full debunk of the Trump hoax site, getting 46 likes. John Hawkins says, quote, "Everyone knows exactly what he's saying, but the media just never has any qualms about lying and misrepresenting what any Republican, particularly Trump, has to say." You're getting 42 likes. Bob Starr says, quote, "It's disgraceful that they call themselves journalists. This is the face of total and absolute desperation. It's falling absolutely flat," getting 67 likes. Donald Trump News says, quote, "Media bias is obvious. Trump is calling out the truth while they twist his words. No wonder people are losing faith in them." Getting 84 likes. Red Wave Press says they're throwing anything at the wall to see what sticks. This is what desperation looks like. Getting 93 likes. Dr. Rusian Bot says they're desperate, grasping at anything, and Trump is a genius at keeping Kamala off message, getting 32 likes. Page says this covers up the Biden transcript alteration scandal, which is providing error cover for the jobs report. Yeah, good for 45 likes. Let's see. Oh, this is hilarious. Golden Advice has a meme of the leftist chick, and she has a sign that says "Stop bombing Iraq," and it says "Men in a Time Machine." The trad guy says, "In 20 years, he'll support Dick Cheney." Yeah, 38 likes, which, yep. Let's see. Susie says, "I used to believe the U.S. government generally had our best interests at heart. Then the pandemic years changed everything. I'll never blindly trust the government or mainstream media narrative again. The well-being of the American people is not the priority. Maybe it never was." Getting 7 likes. I get 8 likes, actually. I think that woke up a lot of people. Not too many contrarian statements here. And we'll get to that story about Biden in a New York minute as well. But yeah, I mean, shoot, I only check mainstream media just to see what their thoughts are and how they're framing things. I try to check as many outlets every day. It's just a brief glance at what they're up to. But let me know, do you know anyone who genuinely tunes into the mainstream media, like, to absorb data and, like, and really trust it? I mean, Lord knows I don't. But let me know in the comments, because, as always, be fascinating to hear what you have to say. Other interesting political news, you have the Associated Press confirming the White House illegally altered Biden's transcript to make him sound more coherent. Now, this comes to us thanks to Nick Sorter at the good old X Twitter, which Nick says, quote, "Breaking. AP has confirmed the White House illegally altered the transcript of Joe Biden calling Trump supporters garbage. This is a blatant violation of the Presidential Records Act, and White House press officials must be prosecuted. Do not let them get away with this." I mean, that being said, of course they'll get away with it because, I mean, we just have lawfare. I'm not sure if anyone on the left is really held accountable for anything these days. You're straight from the donkey's mouth.
Or Puerto Rico, where I'm in my home state of Delaware, they're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His demonization is seen as unconscionable, and it's un-American.
And one of the best marketing techniques I've seen, and one of the best political moves and chess I've seen in years, was Trump the next day working with the garbage men and driving a garbage truck with a Trump banner on it. That's brilliant. Now, looking at the Associated Press, they say, quote, Biden, according to the transcript prepared by the official White House stenographers, which, how do they still have a job? How's that not automated? But yeah, I partially digress. Told the Latino group on Tuesday evening video call, the only garbage I see floating around here is his supporters, and his demonization of Latinos is unconscionable. It's un-American. The transcript released by the White House press, however, rendered the quote with an apostrophe reading the supporters rather than reading supporters rather than the supporters, which aides said pointed to Biden criticizing Hinchcliffe, not the millions of Americans who are supporting Trump for president. Yeah, a little grammar war there. MAGA, they went pretty well. Got 718,000 views as well as 64,000 likes. One of the first comments coming from one bad dude saying, quote, they lie, they cheat, they break the law, and always get away with it. Getting 699 likes. Yeah, remember when Trump was charged with the illegal or improper storage of classified documents? And then Biden was? And Biden got off the hook by his friends at the DOJ just saying, oh yeah, he's not mentally fit for trial. And yet he still has his job? Yeah, interesting. Nick Sorter did respond to one bad dude saying this changes in January, getting 296 likes. Franklin, our favorite leftist, well, not really, but again, contrarian statements keep life interesting. You don't want to be in an echo chamber. Franklin is known for being a leftist guy who has a girl, we call it cartoon, as their profile face for some reason. Says, quote, presidential immunity, thank you, Supreme Court. Mentally vacuous, but Franklin did get 46 likes, and again, that was for things in the presidential purview of their role, not breaking that specific law. Cat 4 says, man, he's a lame duck, getting 51 likes. Nick responds saying, don't care, they're lying in an attempt to cheat again. They need to be taught a lesson, getting 277 likes. The Badge Patriot said, quote, until Garland gets put out of the DOJ, you can forget about any justice, getting 179 likes. Patriot Poitman says, vote Trump to take out the trash. It says, on November 5th, our garbage people are taking the trash out of the White House, getting 78 likes. A couple people reposted that meme. Or meme, if you want to sound really fancy. Rebecca says, quote, the party told you to reject the evidence of your own eyes and ears. It was their final, most essential command, unquote. Quote from George Orwell, one of the most brilliant authors in history. Again, it's from one of the most referenced books on the show. I love it. It's 1984, which it's a woefully sad, depressing book. And even more so when you realize how much governments are almost copying it in some ways. It's even worse today than in the book. Both we have children. Animal Farm is a great book, alternatively to 1984, also written by George Orwell. Much more concise, and the vernacular is much more easier for youth to understand, though the metaphor of don't trust government is basically the same. You have Army Brat saying, quote, the apostrophe is possessive. There's no word after that would make this any sense. Grasping with straws, he said what he said, getting 71 likes. Sasasutu? Hope I'm not intentionally butchering it. If that's not how you pronounce it, says, quote, I wish I had faith in the system to do anything about it, getting 27 likes, which, Lord knows, I don't think most people do. Tom Young says they have to be held accountable for this atrocity, getting 29 likes. Yeah, what's the Las Vegas betting odds on that? I don't want to say it's zero, but I would say it's approximately 0.00000000187%. About. Zero Smith also says criminals who basically get away with whatever they want, getting 10 likes. Mike says there are more criminals in the White House than there are in Alcatraz, getting 65 likes, which, I mean, pretty sure that's shut down. It's a tourist destination, so there would really only be, oh, they said we're in Alcatraz. So I suppose that could be correct. Okay. I was going to say, nowadays it's just a tourist destination, so, I mean, if there are, criminals there, because they're visiting on a tour they're not caught yet, incidentally enough. Steve Miller reposted of Trump in the garbage truck, getting 27 likes. Let's see. Not seeing any contrarian statements here. And it's not the first time they've done this at the White House. They've done it multiple times to make it sound more coherent and articulate, which a tall order. That's a lot of work for a grammar for a person at the White House to be doing that full time. But now at the end of the day, do you think this will actually get people to vote differently? Do you think it'll have any upcoming, any really impact on the election tonight? And do people really care they're being lied to by their government these days, or do they just assume it? Let me know in the comments, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Now, going over to the business blunder of the day, you have Intel's AI chips are far behind Nvidia and pretty much the whole competition. Now, this is as the AI boom is one of the biggest booms in business we've seen in decades, with basically being the fountain of youth for technology. It is to many people magical, and capabilities, they are pretty impressive, and in many use cases, there are still some limitations to it for now, until it takes over. I'm only partially jest. Now this comes to us thanks to Sean Hollister, who works at The Verge, which he says, quote, Nvidia's gaudy AI chips, and that's actually what they're named, it's not like gaudy awful, though I guess for this example it might as well be, says their gaudy AI chips are far behind Nvidia and AMD, won't even hit 500 million goal. AI is already billions or tens of billions to other chip makers, not necessarily Intel, which, yeah, wind back the clock a couple decades ago, Intel was the OG processing company for design, manufacturing. They did some fantastic stuff. And lately, they've had some whoopsies with things breaking left and right. Now, here you see one of those ginormous Intel god-awful chips. Now, he says, quote, Nvidia made a fortune during the AI boom. AMD's rival AI chip became the fastest ramping product in its history, already putting $1 billion per quarter and inspiring AMD to remake itself as an AI company too. But Intel, which is suggested it would pull in $1 billion, even $2 billion on the back of AI in 2024, says it won't even meet the modest 500 million goal for the gaudy AI accelerator this year. Which, yeah, talk about disappointing your shareholders. You're telling them, oh yeah, we might hit $1 billion, you might even hit $2 billion. Yeah, we ended up hitting 500 million, which yeah, that's abysmal to say the least. And debatably, we'll see if they even make a profit on that. Because again, there's a lot of research, a lot of development, and a lot of actually retooling to make these things. Now, their CEO, Pat Gelsinger, says, quote, we will not achieve our target of 500, well, not even get there. Wow. We will not achieve our target of 500 million in revenue for Gaudi in 2024. Ouch. As during Q3 earnings call, they also said, though Intel just launched its recent Gaudi X3 accelerator this past quarter, the overall uptake of Gaudi has been slower than anticipated as adoption rates were impacted by the production of transition from Gaudi 2 to Gaudi 3 and a software ease of use. Which, yeah, that's not smart either. Product transition. Despite the missed goal, Geisinger says we remain encouraged by the market available to us. It's clear we need for solution. There's a clear need for solutions with superior total cost of ownership based on open standards, and we are continuing to enhance Gaudi value proposition. Later on the call, Gillinger seemingly had some sour grapes to share, pointing out how so far the industry huge spend on AI chips has been focused on training AI models in the cloud. Quote, training is creating the weather model, not using it, suggesting once again that putting AI into all the chips, not just one in the cloud, might be more important in the long run. Intel reported $13.3 billion in revenue in quarterly earnings, down 6% year over year, but up compared to last fiscal quarter, and losses of a whopping, $16.6 billion. Ouch. While those losses were based on $18.5 billion of impairments and restructuring costs, the cost of Intel's decision to rework itself for profitability in the future. Someday. Maybe. Last quarter, it announced a $10 billion cost of reduction plan with over 15,000 layoffs and is now detailing some structural shifts inside the company too, including moving its edge computing business into its client computing group that generally handles its desktop and laptop chips and integrating its software teams into the company's core business units. Gellinger says Intel will focus on fewer products and its top priority will be to maximize the value of our x86 franchise across client, edge, and data center markets, which x86 is the common architecture for data center for servers, which, again, remember, there's no such thing as a cloud. It's just someone else's computer, which in these cases, it's someone else's data center because a lot of companies don't even have their own servers these days. But at the end of the day, there's a data center somewhere where the Facebook lives. Although, realistically, Facebook owns a lot of the infrastructure, but you get what I'm trying to say. And yeah, Intel used to be one of the most dominant, respected technology companies on the planet. I mean, there's a time when AMD looked like they were going out of business, which used to be, barely a competitor. And thanks to, I would attribute a lot of it to the newer CEO, Sue, over at AMD, past couple of years, have really turned that company around, where they're winning left and right in the consumer section and the data center, which, again, is a lot of the revenue comes from. A lot of the profitability comes from these larger data center sales, where businesses spend more on tech than individuals. And it's just, yeah, you're not making money on AI, the biggest boom in tech, and you're not executing to even get 500 million when they were projecting 1 to 2 billion. I gotta say, Intel, that is certainly the business blunder of the day. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in. Again, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you can click that button, I greatly appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment. It's a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.